Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is...
I love the color. It's exactly honey. Eddie of Edward is Truth.
And today we're talking about Final Destination 4, aka The Final Destination, or Final Destination 3D,
Yeah,
released
the
August
yeah.
28th, 2009. It's funny that you have that as your quote because the first thing that I thought of when I was watching this movie, and this has never really been a problem for this franchise, but especially during this era, like 2009 when movies were coming out, it's
Yeah.
just like, boy, this movie sure does have a lot of color. Which just might be like the where my compliments end for the film.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I might have a hot take along the way. Not so hot, maybe a lukewarm take. Because I won't trash it, but I will say I don't skip away from it after it's over. I don't go like, oh my gosh, yay! But we'll get into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so we've been covering the franchise
Yeah.
slowly, but well, not even because I think we did three a couple of months ago, in anticipation for Bloodlines, which
Yes.
came out 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're trying to catch up here. And it's been interesting revisiting this franchise, but usually at the top of these episodes we give our a ranking as we go along. So not including
Oh.
like so at this point we're on four, so we would only be ranking the first four, not including five and six. So do you have an idea of what you would say? I don't even remember what I said when we ranked them for the Final Destination 3 episode.
I think I know what I did for that. It's going to be hard because well, I usually go upwards, but I'll go downward to try and give myself more time. Because I think at the top I had Final Destination 3, just below that the OG, just below that Final Destination 2.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is lower right now for me, 2 or this one, and I know it's going to upset a lot of people because there's a lot of people who love 2 and hate this one. I
Mhm.
don't get that, but but we have different walks, different strokes for different folks. What about you? Your
So are you
ranking?
saying it goes four and then two?
I don't know. I mean, because there are. I mean, because I feel like all the perks for me in this movie are kind of shared with 2 because all the things that seem to be perks for a lot of fans of this entire franchise, and specifically 2, like Clear Rivers coming back in 2, that's a boon for a lot of people. It does nothing for me. I said in that pod, she has no impact on the story or even just like a ripple
Hmm.
on anything that goes on. The movie may as well have not had her in it, and that's not how you bring back a legacy character. So, is that worse than no legacy characters to speak of
Yeah.
whatsoever? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I would say right now, because that's the thing. Like, there are elements to some of these movies that I feel are better in some than there are in others.
Yeah.
Overall, I think like at the top, I would have three, even though there are things that I much prefer in the original.
Okay.
But like the overall ride, I think in three works for me because I know I find that there's a few lags in the original,
Hmm.
towards the end of the second act and into the third.
Cat, cat food.
But I would say, yeah, I'd say three and then one and then two. I still think that two has the best opening disaster of the franchise.
Yeah.
And then this is at the bottom. And I mean, spoilers for future rankings, because I haven't seen five in a while. And, I
Mm.
did see Bloodlines when it came out, but I'm pretty sure that this is my least favorite of the franchise.
This might be my least favorite. I will say that's the thing that makes it hard is that you're right, there is something really captivating. I mean, even still, when we did that pod, there
Mhm.
were things that would have made that opening resonate even more for me. But uh, but they both leave me kind of cold. Like I end up the end credits roll on 2 and on 4, and for both of them for me it's like, oh thank God. You know, now I can go do something else or watch something else, you know, and that's exactly
Mhm.
what happened to me today. That's what happened when I screened 2 again for that pod. So who knows? I don't
Yeah.
know. I'll get ask me again at the end of the pod. Maybe I'll have a maybe I'll have an answer for you.
Yeah. That's fair. So just looking at the live stream chat comments, we've got it's moving real quick here. But
Yeah.
Grant 1, 3, 2, but they're all close to each other, really, and then 4. Bozzolini says Final Destination 2 is my favorite.
Mm.
Mark Craney says 2 is my favorite, followed by 3, 1, and then 4.
See?
Garrison says 3 was fun for my last rewatch. I think 5 is just okay, but 4 is bad. Amethyst Frost is it's pretty universally the least favorite,
This
just in
one.
terms of the Final Destination. Yeah.
Also, here's Amethyst saying to back up Eddie not understanding people who love 2 and hate 4. They were written and directed by the same people.
I noticed that because I looked at the writer for this one and saw that he had also done 2.
Mm,
But was didn't hadn't done 3. And I
right.
think wasn't 3 the same writers as 1? It wasn't Jeffrey Reddick, but it might have been
Amethyst. I don't
Amethyst usually has all the answers. The thing with this franchise is like it's like I love it. I love the concept of Final Destination. It's never been my favorite. And I
Right.
think that, one of who was it that said like consistently, like everything is all on the same page really, and I feel that.
Hmm.
I think that it's just like there's a lot of consistency. It's a good thing. You can go
Hmm.
to these movies and you expect, you get what you're expecting.
Yeah.
And I think that it's for the most part, it's executed really well. I mean, not to get into it because we'll cover it on its own episode, but I really enjoyed the new movie. I thought that there was, they did a lot more than we had gotten in the past, but I do have a lot of notes.
Yeah.
There are things that I didn't care for necessarily, but I think that it's just like all across the board. I'd say everything is pretty equally matched. This is the
Hmm.
outlier for me, this one.
Okay.
I mean, I know I did I didn't favor 2 as much. Like there were some issues that I had with
Hmm.
it, but this one, and in spite of the criticisms that I have for this movie, I didn't walk away from it feeling pissed off or anything. Like I still had a good time
Mm,
with this
okay.
movie, but I think it's bad. I think that this is like the Halloween resurrection of the Final Destination franchise, and I'll get into why. Um,
Ooh.
but but yeah, do you have any other hot takes or mild takes before
Oh, I'll
we?
probably have several, but let's get
Yeah.
that into the body of the pod proper. Let's do some housekeeping if we can.
Let's do some housekeeping. If you have been watching slash listening to the Cherry Picker for a while, or if you're brand new, we're now doing these live, so you can join us if you head over to my Patreon at patreon.com/ZackCherry, ZackCherry, and subscribe at the Freddy Krueger tier. You'll get access to join all of the live stream recordings. You will also get access to nominate and vote for the episode or movie or theme that you want us to cover at the end of each month. So this month we had a lot of really exciting nominations, and they were all voted upon. And the winning vote of what we will be covering next week is Death Becomes Her, the 1992 movie, if I'm
I'm
not mistaken.
beaming.
And that was nominated by Daniel Saturn. So thank you very much for that. That's what's
Yay!
going on next week for anyone who's interested. But if you
Fun.
want to head over and sign up, you'll get the opportunity to cast your nomination and vote for the episode of your choosing.
Hmm.
If there's something in particular that you want us to cover that you think a lot of people would want to hear us talk about. But I do want to thank some of my Patreon supporters. So for the Michael Myers tier, thank you to Kyle Beard, Ali Hamouche, Shane Ellingham, Tim McKay, Stephanie Starbright, Horror Slet 95, Traj 125, Michael Boswell, and then thank you to the Ghost Faces, Eric Champney, Sam Levy, Daniel Saturn, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, and Craig Lynn. A lot of folks who are here right now with us.
Yay!
And yeah, do you have a premise
Yeah, give me a
for
second.
the Final
Oh,
Destination?
shall I be French for the the final destination?
Whatever your pleasure is.
Yeah, why not? It's not like it matters. Okay. After a horrifying premonition saves a young man, his friends, and a handful of cliched strangers from death during a racetrack accident, the survivors are left in anticipation of which elder they'll confront. The final destination. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
uh, where can this be watched?
Right now, if you have an active subscription to Max, or now they just changed it back to HBO Max, and we're all thrilled. It's changing lives. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all of them, all five of them actually are available of the original run. Bloodlines we're still waiting on. I don't know if it'll go on Max, but anyway. Or you can go to your favorite individual rental subscription platform for
Uh,
not non-subscription flat platform for that. Also, coming up, update, there is a Blu-ray six film collection
ooh.
dropping July 22nd, 2025. So just days away as we're recording this,
Mm.
of the first of the six films, the entire run as of right now. So
No
that's coming.
4K?
No 4K, just
Yeah.
Blu-ray. But
Well, do we need to see this in 4K?
this,
This
do
one.
I mean, do we need to see this is the question. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, but and also there's numerous editions. If you're just like a light
Yeah.
fan, you just want to have it on your shelf with the other ones. There's like the
I
first
mean,
four movies in a collection.
I've
There's the one
got
that
this
Zack is
one
holding.
with a
Your 3D.
lenticular cover. Yeah, and I didn't even notice this until just like 20 minutes ago or whenever when I like went to grab it because I have the slippy, but it comes with 3D glasses,
That's
which
adorable.
I've never opened, and it has like the little like the Final Destination and 3D logo and
Did
all
they
that.
expire?
Um,
No, they don't.
Maybe. I've seen like McDonald's fry boxes have expiration dates on them, so
Oh, well, that's
you
because
know.
of what they're holding. So,
Well,
so there you
there's
go.
nothing.
There's all that
Uh
stuff.
yeah, but I've had this one for a while and
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't watched it in a minute.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't watched five in a minute, so
Hmm.
I'm excited to get to that one. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
this one um
Yes.
I I think that, like I mentioned that this is the Halloween resurrection of the the Final Destination franchise because it feels so perfunctory. It feels like it just low effort on every end. And it was just sort of like put together by probably like a committee of people that just were just like, oh, let's just do this. Like we had this in this movie. And for all intents and purposes, like this is officially called the Final Destination. I think it's now subsequently been changed to Final Destination 4. I have no idea.
It's
But
advertised on HBO Max. I have to get used to saying that
yeah,
again. Sorry, HBO Max. It's literally each movie's thumbnail is like the number of the movie with like a skull
right.
somehow kind of like haunting it, and it's a big four with like
Yeah.
a skull around it.
Well,
So I'm like, okay, so they're embracing the four of it.
it
It's
makes
easier.
sense because
Yeah.
like the Final Destination is a confusing title, especially for someone who is, looking for, to watch Final Destination and then like would they accidentally watch this one first and be like, oh, this is horrible. But
The final chapter. Yes.
yeah, like it's just like it had that kind of mentality to it. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's just doing the same thing. Like I talked in the last episode about how each movie up until that point, and even like five and six, introduce a new element into the story.
Hmm.
This one doesn't do anything. It's just sort of, it feels like another Final Destination. In fact, before we started, I think it might have been Amethyst who said this should have been called a Final Destination instead of the Final Destination because it is just it just feels like it's just stringing the basic ideas together, and even like the disaster at the beginning, like the race car thing, it doesn't have the same gravitas as like the first two, especially. Like three might be a little bit more niche because it's like roller coasters, but I would still say that like roller coasters aren't as niche as like a racetrack sort of
Hmm.
situation.
Hmm.
So there was just a lot going on. I think that the characters in this movie, they feel so one note and underbaked, like throughout the whole thing. I, this couple just feels so milk toast to me, and it's not the actor's fault. It's just the dialogue, the writing throughout. It doesn't feel like there's anything really put into it to like make it stand out. I know that in the third movie we had with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, even though like there was some criticisms we had about like, well, she's controlling, and they always say like, oh, I guess this is part of your control, like just
Yeah.
reminding us that she's controlling. But she had flair, she had a character, there was something to her
Yeah.
rather than these people here. And I mean, maybe it like went over my head, but I kind of missed anything to do with, how they kind of like were piecing it together and just like this is what's happening. It just sort of like he had a premonition,
Yeah.
and then it just felt like they kind of were figured it out on their own. I don't think that there was any sort of link to the past. If
No,
there was,
no Tony Todd looming over them,
this is
giving
the
clues or anything.
yeah, this is the only Tony Toddless
Yeah.
entry in the franchise.
Yeah. Amethyst pointed out, just for clarification from before, David R. Ellis and Eric Bress did two and four,
Mhm.
and James Wong and Glenn Morgan did one and three. So that's probably why, for me, I think probably why they seem to share a lot of this similar DNA.
Right.
Especially in terms of what you're talking, in terms of like these kinds of cardboard cutout characters. Couldn't agree more. And the thing is, I don't think that that's necessarily to the movie's fault, it's not a point against the film because we've kind of built on the foundation of relatively stereotypical characters. The thing
Mhm.
is, the surprise that they can introduce in you with like, I mean, number one, they in the first movie they were just blessed with casting Devon Sawa as their central character because we don't even need to know any strong characteristics about him. Something about the way they shot and staged all of his, alleged paranoia about all the signs, like making themselves present as he's
Mhm.
making his way through the airport, makes him incredibly endearing on top of like what's already endearing about him as an actor. But then, and then the people who align themselves with him, it's because we think they're smart or insightful or sweet or like, and then the people who don't are the people who are just like, you dumb fuck. So at least you get to take a stance with them. Second
Mhm.
movie, we talked about my feelings about that. A lot of things could have been developed, but again, relatively cardboard cutouts. And then the third movie, again, yes, a lot of stereotypes being pushed front, like, well, you're a control freak. I know, I'm a control freak. But then later, after that first slew of deaths, after, the handful of people escape post Premonition, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character is at odds with that, and she's trying to do things to fight that nature of being a control freak, and yet at the same time use it as her superpower to try and save lives. So at least there's conflict there.
Mhm.
With this movie, right off the bat, um, I remember the look of the guy, the main guy in particular, the one who has the premonition, Nick. I didn't remember his name. I never remember anybody's names though, but I couldn't. I was sitting there watching him, just going like, do we ever learn anything about him? And the answer is no. The thing is, the one thing that we get that's maybe a clue as to who he is almost accidental on the part of the writers, because he's the last of his foursome introduced, because he's gone to the refreshment stand. We don't see this, but he comes
Yeah.
bearing drinks and snacks for his friends. And I'm like, oh, this is the kind of guy who would let his friends find their seats, and he'd buy everybody their snacks and their drinks, assumedly. I'm assuming he didn't ask them all, pull up for, your money. He's probably treating them, seems like a nice guy, and wouldn't ask anything about it, and just make sure everybody gets settled and just wants everybody to have a good time. That's as deep as we go. We never learn anything else about him after that. And then later on, I think there's one point where he's just like, I just can't deal with this. And I'm like, I'm not interested enough in you as a person to even care what you can't deal with. Why? Why can't you deal with it?
Amethyst is saying, after everyone's opening premonition, the main characters are always disturbed or crying or whatever. Nick just stares blankly in the camera. And I saw a video that someone put together of like all the final destination, when they come out of the premonition,
Yes.
and they're presumably go back in time, and they're like, trying to catch their breath or like come out of it. And he's just like, he does like squeeze his girlfriend's leg.
Yeah, she's like, ow!
Like like he's gripping it tightly, but yeah, he's very emotionless, as are like most of the characters in this, and I do find that funny, and that was something I clocked, that he's the last one who's introduced, because that's always been the opposite. It's just like whoever, like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she was the first one we were introduced, when she's taking the pictures of them coming down, and in the second one, obviously, was it Kimberly? I don't even remember her introduction, other than the father was like, oh, you're going on a road trip with your friends and better get that engine checked and whatever. And then obviously like Devon Sawa introduced here. So but Nick's introduction didn't really feel like, it didn't stand out. It didn't feel like a star's entrance, if you will. It was just sort of like, here's these three, and they're just sort of like talking amongst themselves, and then like, all right, the food has arrived. And his Devon Sawa moments, if you will, or just sort of like the bench he sits on like cracks, and then he's like looking up, and there's some cracks in the cement over top. Like there's not really these messages that he's getting. So even him being psychic in a way just felt like, did the powers that be just bestow this gift upon him suddenly out of nowhere? It felt like with everyone else, they were sort of, it felt a little bit more meaningful. It was just something that they could, they might have had for a while or used, because like we talked about, like you mentioned the characters in the first movie, but one thing that was interesting about Clear Rivers is that she was empathic, and that's how that was her reasoning for getting off of the plane, because she felt his premonition, or could feel like the sprinklings of it before he even had it, as they were like going through the airport. So here it just sort of felt like it, like again, like very perfunctory. It just like Final Destination 1 had a premonition, so we're gonna have a premonition. I mean, every movie does have a premonition, but here it didn't feel like it was developed or set up or earned with the character. It just sort of like, and then there's the guy who comes with the food, and just by the very nature, like if anything, like the girlfriend at that point seemed like she was more so the main character. So it was interesting that it turned out to be him.
Yeah. Also, just in terms of impact, like the aftermath of losing people. Again, it's harder when you're strangers versus like when you actually lose people you care about and stuff like that. But and you know me with the Agatha Christie of it all, like people who have no context together other than they were just kind of thrust in this together by fate, and now who are we? And I'm like, I don't really care. Make me care. Please make me care. As opposed to people who have like already histories, backstories, and everything like that. But even just the way they portray impact, we go back to Devon Sawa after the flight. I always remember him returning home now, returning home, looking into his room after he's been questioned and everything has been treated, everything's been
Mm.
given the weight of, like of what just transpired, so it doesn't just feel kind of transactional. And he gets home, he looks at his room, realizes he's safe and sound, and he just turns to his parents. We just look through a rainy window and see him just start crying and fall into the arms of his parents and just watch them cradle him and just really, feel our son is alive, thank God. And similarly, like with three, you get Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ryan Merriman mourning the loss of the people who they were in relationships with. And so, I mean, and there's something to be said about like the impact. I'm always a sucker for that. I want to see the ripple effect again on just like what's happening, like how it doesn't just affect the people who are killed. The thing isn't the scariest thing isn't just that you are like under the threat of being eliminated, but that people are being eliminated around you and that actually does have an effect on you. We turn to this film. Okay. Because I agree with you about the final couple, or can we even call them that? But whatever. The two
The final
people.
throuple.
Yeah, right. But I mean the two people, Lori
Yeah.
and Nick. They're already kind of like just basic. It seems like they're trying to set up Lori possibly to be the less vapid of the two female friends. And because Janet seems, but at the same time, oh God, I have so much to say. Okay, Janet, let's just talk about Janet for a second. Introduced with virtually no characteristics that I can define, and yet all of a sudden, when Lori and Nick start uncovering all this stuff for Hunt and Janet, their friends,
Mhm.
the exes, Janet stands up and just goes, "Oh my God, you guys, I can't deal with shit like this. You know what this kind of shit does to me?" Something like that. And I'm like, "But we know, who are you? Why? What does this shit do to you? Did you have a prior trauma, or are you just like really, you just want to focus, are you, Karen from Halloween 2018, and you just want to focus on puppy dogs and elves and Santa and lollipops and angels and everything is Valentine, I mean, Cupids and all that bullshit, or like why?" And we never find out. She just wants to focus on the positive, I guess. We can deduce that as we
Mhm.
move through the movie, because when she goes to the movies, that's the same thing. I just want to sit here and watch this movie. I was meant to see that movie. Kablamo.
Can
But
we, okay, wait, can we talk about this movie? Okay, so it's not called Love Lies Bleeding. That was an actual movie. But
yeah,
it's like Love Lays Dying
yeah.
or something. But in 3D, in the spellbinding third dimension, and we see this movie on the screen because they go in and we're watching it, and it's like about like detonating a bomb, which doesn't feel like it befits the title, like Love Lies
No.
Lays Dying or whatever, but like it's like an action movie and it's in 3D, and she's just like, I was meant to see this movie, and it's just like just feels very uncharacteristic. Like it felt like there were just, when they were developing the script, there wasn't really any thought put into the characters of just like, what would they like? What are they,
Mhm.
who are these people? What would they do? It's just like, no, she's just gonna go, like, this girl would never go to a movie like that, you
No.
know? I
I mean,
don't
unless she, again, if there was something like the smallest thing of just, I just want to go to something mindless and just, I know it's violent, but at least the violence is fake. At least I can sit
mhm.
there, like just give me a little something, two sentences that explain what might
Yeah.
motivate her, or even just something earlier that's planted about like make her a movie, but I don't know. Anyway, so she's, but then we've got. Obviously, Hunt is the douche of the group. I don't know why these four people hang out if two of them are exes that don't get along, but okay, whatever. And then we get a rather bland, from the look of it, Nick and fucking Lori. Lori, who up until the third act, like the first two acts of this movie, is actually kind of giving me Lisa from Nightmare 2, Freddy's Revenge, like, because she's the one who's really kind of pushing forth, like, well, we gotta find it, and if this means that, then like she's kind of like in the driver's seat for most of it, and Nick's just kind of like, okay, sure, I don't know. So that's at least the way I see them. Anyway, but they're trying to prevent deaths, so I'm like, okay, I guess you're both decent people, whatever. But then again, these four people hang out. I don't understand why, but then Hunt dies, no ripple effect. No one mourns him. There is no funeral. There's not even. She is more disturbed by the prospect of losing fucking what's his name, McKelty Williamson's character,
George.
George.
Mhm.
George, who we'll talk about in a second, but George is basically thought he's going to like kind of like join his family. He's lost his family. We find that out and everything in one of the laziest written speeches in the history of cinema. Just, I lost my family and they all died, but whatever. And McKelty Williamson, I mean, he does his best, but does he? I don't know. He's a really good actor, but I did see I sometimes actors go on autopilot a little bit, and I felt like little autopilot in his speech too, because you can still invest in bad material and not make it sing, but maybe you can at least put it in tune. And it wasn't even in
Yeah.
tune. I was like, this is just bad writing, and you're just tired. Good for you for getting a paycheck. But anyway, um, so he's hanging himself or trying to hang himself. He's been trying to kill himself all day. They don't know that, but they cut him down, and Laurie's just kind of like, "Are you crazy after everything that we've been through?" And I'm just like, "What? You barely know this man. Like you watched a couple people die whose lives were saved as a result of the premonition, and now you've witnessed the deaths. But and after all, I mean, wrong line for her to say to him at that point. They find out then, now that I guess they think they've beat the pattern, that, like, oh, but we saved, oh, because that was another thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Zach. I have so many questions. Okay. Because when you really start scratching a little bit at the surface, like, oh my God. Okay. Because they're sitting there trying to decipher what happened and what makes the impetus for them to, I guess, go run to go save George. Aren't they sitting there? Yeah, they're sitting there in front of like a newspaper and I guess like a mug of coffee. Something happens and the coffee knocks over and it soaks through a newspaper. We zero in on the newspaper and it's talking about like the victims of the crash or whatever.
Right.
But then right next to it is a column talking about potholes and a bill has passed to save lives or something. And they both look at each other like, oh my gosh, I think we beat the pattern. And they run out to go tell George. What the fuck did I miss? What was that supposed to mean?
It's because there was certain words that weren't soaked.
Okay,
So I
I
think
didn't
like
see
you had to,
that.
yeah, you had to, I don't even remember what it was, but I did remember the line that she said. It's just like after everything we've been through, and I'm like everything, and then like
Yeah.
they just met each other. But that's yeah. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. It's just like everything was just sort of like strung together with these ideas,
Uh-huh.
and we were critical in the past of things not adding up, especially in the third one of just how the like what is the ripple effect? What is the first domino in terms of like the roller coaster crash?
Right.
Because if like what's his face's handheld uh camcorder was part of that, but he got off the
Right.
ride, like how did the
Yes.
how did it still crash sort of thing?
Right.
So with this movie, I don't think that there was anything within the opening scene that like was altered by them not being there. But
Yeah.
throughout the movie, there's just like there were a lot of questions that I had like they ostensibly save Janet from the
Yeah.
car wash death, and that I guess would have like then meant that like it passed over to the next person sort of thing, as what were the rules established in the first movie, but yet, and even though this was just another premonition, they're in the theater and it blows up and she's the one that gets killed there. But like
Right.
wouldn't
Right.
she be the most safe if like if she's
Yeah.
ahead of
Yeah. Wouldn't
Lori
it
and Nick?
continue the
Yeah.
cycle and then run back to her? But
Yeah.
that's
And
broader than you or I, sir.
so
I don't know.
yeah, so that happened. Unless there's some sort of like argument to be made that Nick going there and tell like getting them out of the theater like then like
Hmm.
saved Lori. But even then, like he went to the theater in both the premonition and afterwards anyway. So it's just like it doesn't make any sense. But then at the end of the movie, he's got the cast on and they're sitting at the table. And I missed what was scribbled on or like etched into the table that he read or whatever. But he said, like, do you think that maybe we weren't supposed to die before, and this actually we've been led
Right.
up to this moment? And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It does with the pattern, it still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. If you're trying to like figure out the logic of this movie, I'd be hard pressed. I mean, if somebody understands it, by all means, share it in the feed. If somebody has
Yeah.
been, I'm sorry, we haven't read it yet. But this thing, okay. Because also, in addition to that, this movie does take a turn for me around that time after we find out George was suicidal all day and that they must have stopped the pattern and that's why he can't kill himself and ding dong the witch is dead. But anyway, I mean, not the reverse, I guess. Ding dong the witch didn't die and it won't she won't die, she will never die. But they start busting out the champagne and toasting to life immediately after saving this recovering alcoholic from an
Sparkling.
attempted
He's but
suicide. Oh,
he
sparkling
said
cider. Yeah,
sparkling
sparkling
cider.
cider.
Yeah.
That's right. So, but so they're toasting to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And immediately I'm like, I just wrote, Lori's the worst. Because George says, they toast and he goes, we've been given a second chance. So what are you guys going to do with it? And Lori immediately moves from being merely bland to being insufferable for me because she turns into the Jennifer Love Hewitt, the happy Julie James of this movie because she immediately starts going, well, I have a few plans for us. She does a laugh like, she goes, lots of traveling, like Paris, maybe some beaches, Saint-Tropez. And I'm like, wow, it didn't take you long to recover it all. I mean, I understand a sense of relief, maybe exhilaration, thinking you beat the system, but wouldn't you be, if she's supposed to be the more intuitive character, the most intuitive character of this foursome, isn't she, wouldn't she be a little bit like, I don't know, reticent or nervous? Like, I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, there was something about it that just felt like you're absolutely celebrating too soon, and that's when I remembered. Oh yeah, the mall and the movie theater. That's where I check out of this movie, and I
Yeah.
did. I had to rewind sections of it over and over again
Yeah.
just to, and I had to do that before that. But this section, I was just my mind kept wandering. I could not focus in the entire climactic act
Mhm.
of this.
It One thing I did clock was just like this whole set piece is just devoid of any sort of tension.
Yeah.
For me, it was like how I found it. Um, I will say the most interesting thing that happened in the movie, and I don't might have forgotten that it happened, but when we realized that it is another premonition,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Yeah.
like a prolonged premonition. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't save the movie, but it's just like, okay, that was a thing. I love how it's like it happens. He receives it just a little too late to save George.
Yeah.
It it's just like George is fucked. Um, but if I can give this movie a compliment,
Okay.
another one, besides the fact that oh, it's nice to see color in a 2009 movie. Um, this movie is only an hour and 21 minutes or 22 minutes. And when you take into account the no, but when you take into account the credits, like the opening and closing
Uh-huh.
credits, I
Uh-huh.
mean it's probably like a 75-minute long movie.
Yeah.
And it's just that's great. I mean like the other ones are all like around the 90-minute, maybe 100-minute. I know the
Mm-hmm.
Bloodlines was an hour 50. But there was just something about it. It's just like, oh, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that
Mm.
we weren't subjected to another 10 minutes of nothing. So I mean, it moves around, it moves along fast enough for me. And I think that that's why it might have been as um uh easy to get through and like enjoyable enough because it's just like okay that I could do that it didn't feel like it was holding me hostage at any point where it was just sort of like oh my
No.
God let's just get through this already where there's a lot of movies that that do make me feel that way.
Sure. No, I mean, I wasn't feeling cinematic claustrophobia or anything like that, but I was just feeling like that turn that you just mentioned, if I can take a positive and spin it negatively.
Sure.
No, when they when we find out that like everything that happened in the movie theater in the mall the first time around was a premonition, we zip back to it. That's the first time I think it's happened in this franchise where I go, oh God. Like
We got to
we
do
were
this
so
again.
close. We were so close. You could have just killed people off and had a big how do you do? Or you know what would have been great? Like have him go back to the top of the escalator. And have him still not be able to save Lori. That's what I would have liked. But
Mhm.
I will say in terms of like things that I like things earlier, like little things. Like there was something that I was actually kind of surprised by when they were all sitting there in the stands in the opening together.
Mhm.
And the guy with the cowboy hat sits in front of Lori, and immediately something happens, and she can't see it, and she starts going like, "Well, oh my God, something big happened, and I missed it." And they're like, "Should we ask this guy to move?" And he overhears, and he turns his head, and I was thinking like, "Oh, I'm in a Final Destination movie. Oh, this is probably going to go south pretty soon." Because that's one thing. That's one thing that's not specific to this movie. Characters who are deemed douches go from 0 to 90 in like a heartbeat, as far as like rageful, like, what are you talking about? You know, kind of thing. So I thought,
Mhm.
oh no, is this going to be like a big violent conversation? Like, what, you got a problem with my hat, missy? Or something like that. And immediately it was just this genteel cowboy gentleman who's just kind of going like, is my hat blocking your view or something like that? And she's like, yeah. She's like, would you like me to slide over, you know, and just, out of your way? And then Nick says like, if you wouldn't mind, is like, much obliged or whatever he says. And he moseys on over. Everybody's happy, everybody's courteous, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a nice surprise. Then I get exactly what I was expecting with, I think, number one, the mechanic and his girlfriend, because he's the one who's yelling at everybody, hey, sit down, motherfucker, and all that. And then yeah, my girlfriend wants to look through your binoculars. Oh, are they not actually binoculars? And she just takes it, just starts swigging. And Spoon's like, take as much as you like. And and so I'm just like, okay,
Was it Sandy, the waitress at the?
it was Sandy the waitress. You can't go out there in that rain. But I was just like for a surface like kind of preppy frat feeling kind of guy, like you're surprisingly non-confrontational. That's okay, but I mean, I wouldn't mind you stepping up to this guy and this girl who's just taking your hooch, but whatever. And then we get, of course, the guy who's simply dubbed racist in the credits. That's what he's called. He has no name. That's
Yeah.
that's his entire character, and that's even how they refer to him. Like, first, like the mechanic went there, and then the racist went there, and then hot mom went there, or whatever he calls her. I think they do call her a
MILF.
MILF at one point, but they
Yeah.
called her the mom. I think Nick just called her the mom. But and I was just like, okay, there's the racist fuck, douche city. Okay, we're back on track. I don't like it, and oh my God, the Dixieland whistling and everything. I was just kind of like, oh, I think he
There's
dies soon. I think he dies soon, and
he's
he did.
second. He's second.
Yeah, after he drops
Um
an N bomb. Great.
the I was gonna say there's another racist character just randomly
Oh
thrown in,
yeah,
the old man in
the
the
bath.
hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like and
Oh my.
there was really like it was interesting because it's like there's no reason for this character to be here. Also, like what it's becomes another case of like, are just these professional like hospital workers just that incompetent at their jobs? Like we're gonna walk out of a room with this bathwater running when it's already near the top. But it gets to a point where it's the room is like half flooded. Like, where's this water going? Nobody's noticed this. Nobody's like coming in. Like, if there was like a thing where, if like the door only opened inward
Mhm.
and like you could see that they were trying just to establish they were trying to get into the room or
Oh.
something but no, they just forgot all about it and nobody noticed like all the water like up to up to here.
Well, I mean, if the water was not leaking under the door, but it was leaking through the floor,
Hmm.
maybe it was like vacuum sealed or something, and maybe it wasn't incompetence, but it was revenge from the orderly for being racially challenged by this elderly white man getting his race wrong and telling him like, I killed hundreds of you just like you, or whatever. Maybe he meant to just shut the door, let the water run until the entire room filled, and this guy who's immobilized in this swing drowned. Maybe that was the end game. I don't know, but even that though, like that racist old guy. I would argue he had more dimension than most of the characters in this movie, because at least we got to see him be openly hostile and you know, just really gross, and then immediately seen him in peril and out of a position of power and just going,
I don't
just,
think
you know.
was he ever in peril though? Like that's the thing. I never felt that
He should have fallen through the floor.
These side characters.
See, it would have been great if we could have seen when the big tub falls through the floor, if he would have fallen right next to it.
But then that begs the question of like, what is the offshoot of like deaths and things happening and the effect that those have? Because I
I'm
guess
sure there's casualties.
now
Yeah.
that the like Nick's later on premonition, he saved all those people from the theater blowing up. So all of those people are going to now succumb to an even more horrific death off on their own.
I have to say, in the name of death, though,
Yeah.
I think my favorite that I forgot about. Even with knowing, I remembered knowing like, oh, it's not gonna come back to that stone, isn't it? With the lawnmower and the salon and all that, with the MILF. Watching, her name's Samantha though, so we'll just call her MILF Samantha. But MILF Samantha brings like her kids and everything, and they're tearing everything out. Or they don't even bring them; they're outside playing, and then they run in
She gives
and
the money
storm
to
the place.
the
And,
arcade.
right. But they end up coming back anyway. And also, okay, can we talk about her for a second? We could make an entire pod just on her and her life choices, because I thought about you, just in terms of like when people in like either civil servant positions or even just, you know, service industry positions have to deal with other people's bullshit. And I got my own trigger just kind of like watching her come in 10 minutes before before closing time, while her hairdresser is not there, and still wanting her hair to be not just cut but colored before, so she can go out and be ready for and a manicure and a pedicure for girls' night. Do you think the girls give a shit what you look like? And that was also the thing. That was part of her case. She just said like, it's girls' night tonight and I really need it. It's like, well, you know what? You can just you look great. Your hair's fine. I don't think anyone's going to go like, ew, you can't sit with us. No one's going to do that on your girls' night tonight. Yeah. But then,
and especially after the tragedy that they just went through,
yeah, right.
No one's gonna be like, "You look like shit."
Exactly. No one's gonna be thinking about you.
Stuff under your nails, And
like, I understand
you can't sit with us.
Exactly. But I understand. Sometimes we need some pampering, and sometimes we need this. But like at the expense of people like getting home to their loved ones in a timely fashion, they were obviously so inconvenienced and so like disheartened at the fact that like, I loved that the receptionist gave her the finger. I loved the attitude of the hairdresser who was subbing in for her. And also, again, okay, more dimension granted to the peripheral characters than to the ones that were actually following through this movie, because I'm watching the hairdresser and I'm watching her just, like angry flip that smock and everything that she's gonna put on her, and not be careful and be a little rougher than usual, but nothing that you can say anything because you're just gonna slow it down and you don't want to slow things down. But then the second that the chair fell while MILF Samantha was sitting in it, it fell like about a foot, which is significant when you're cutting hair and working on someone's eyes, around their eyes and whatnot. And immediately the hairdresser's entire like chemistry shifted. She was just kind of like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Are you okay? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, yeah, because she could have gotten hurt. She's a bitch, but you don't want to hurt her. And I was feeling more empathy. I wanted to follow the trajectory of this receptionist and this hairdresser. Like the entire movie could have taken place in this salon, and it actually would have been.
Yeah,
I think it would have been a welcome change of terrain and a welcome change of just kind of like the function of like the ensemble. Like, what if it's
yeah.
just a group of women working, trying to make it work at a salon, and throw in an obligatory gay guy in there too, like, and I want to see, and also
That's
because
a
there's a
completely
context.
different movie.
I know, but I want
Um,
that. That's what I
well,
want.
then go see Beauty Shop or something.
Yeah, but
Um,
does anybody get killed in Beauty Shop? I've
I've
never seen
never
it.
seen it. I've never seen it. It kind of this sequence was sort of like, and I think it even fell in the same placement of the movie of the
Yeah.
third one with the tanning salon. Because
Mm.
there was part of it that, felt like that to me. I think it was obviously done way better in uh
Oh yeah.
FD3. I mean, that's
Sure.
one of I think we both agreed that that was like our favorite kill from the
Yeah.
franchise.
So, yeah.
But there was something interesting because like you mentioned it, like her regular hairdresser uh didn't come into work that day because and the receptionist says there was like this horrible accident on his street last night.
Yes.
So and I'm wondering like were the writers trying to infuse like some domino effect there? Like everything happens for a reason sort of thing and like
That everything's
this
interconnected.
yeah, but it really like none of it really made sense or mattered because it's like
No.
him not coming to work didn't like it wasn't this chain reaction sort of thing. So I think that like they put that in there like it was supposed to be this deeper connection than it was, but it like really just amounted to nothing and didn't have anything to do with what eventually happens.
I think it was also just to kind of showcase how callous MILF Samantha is in the face of like, I've just suffered a tragedy. Now I've heard about somebody else. I mean, again, is it suffering a tragedy to have somebody like dragged to death down your street? It's certainly not something I would wish on anyone, but is it something you need to call out of work the next day for? I don't think so. I
Mhm.
think also that hairdresser needed an excuse to take a day off. More
Yeah.
power to you. And he just said like, sorry, somebody was dragged. Because also, what are you going to say to that? Like when someone calls you on the phone and says, I can't come into work today. Someone was
But
dragged
did
to
you
their
but did
death down
you
my street.
but did
Yeah.
you die?
Yeah. Did you die? Did you
Did
see it?
you?
Did you know him? No, it was some
Yeah.
racist fuck I never knew. Well, then you can come into work. Nobody's doing that. They obviously got each
Yeah.
other's backs and everything. But I think it was just to show, because that was another thing about her, MILF Samantha, was the fact that she's sitting there hearing about that and just kind of go, oh, that's terrible. So tonight's girls' night. Could you please? And I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh, girl. But I do have to say also there was some tension for me created. There isn't much in this movie, but because also we can talk about the abundance of CGI and really
Not good CGI.
poorly
Yeah.
executed. And I think maybe they thought the 3D of it all would help mask that. But I remember I saw this movie in the theater. This was the first Final Destination movie I saw in the movie
Mm,
theater with my sister because this was her
I'm
franchise, still
sorry.
is. And no, it's okay because I remember with the 3D of it all, it still looked like bad
Yeah.
CGI, and it still was an unsatisfying climax. But it was something to kind of cock your head at and just kind of go, "Oh, look, that's close to my face." Whatever,
I mean, well, it's bad CGI for 2009.
Yeah, it is.
Like we had already like far surpassed
Mm-hmm.
like where we were there. And this is like, I mean, this movie, the budget was 40 million.
Holy shit.
And it made like upwards of like almost like 190 million. So like they
Yeah.
weren't, you know, they could afford it. So it just again, it felt like it's just like let's just do this for as cheap as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and string something together. And it yeah, like a lot of the stuff like with the snake and all that, and
Yeah.
just certain things that just like didn't even need to be CGI. Like I would love to see a Final Destination that is just like more about the practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like the first one was probably the most practical use that
I can't, I
what I'm
can't speak.
thinking of. Yeah.
I rarely watch things for the technical aspects, so unless it's really clear, yeah, I don't know
I mean
enough.
just by the very nature of like the kills in the first movie, I think that they weren't as spectacular
Yeah.
as what we have
No,
in the sequel. So that's why I think, I'm thinking of like the Sean William Scott with like
sure.
the metal shard that like cuts
Yeah,
his head like in the
head.
middle.
Yeah.
That like anything that happened there, like that looked like a dummy that like they had propped up and like got the head to
Hmm.
split off there. But there's just like it wasn't as like grand scale, like even like the in the third one with the guy with the weights and how the thing like comes and crushes his head like a peanut,
Yeah.
and just like just all like the blood like squirting out, like there's
Yeah.
I get there's like a cartoonish aspect to these movies,
Yeah.
and I think that at this point they've embraced it,
Yeah.
um but it does, you do run the risk of like, falling into this like poor CGI trap
Yeah.
where things do look bad, and you do kind of like, even in the day in like 2009, look at something and be like, oh, this doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And you think about like, how is that going to look 16 years in the future when you're watching it back?
If it doesn't look good now, it is not going to look good in the future. But
Hmm.
also just like, yeah, basically at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, am I making a feature length R-rated Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon? Because that's basically what's happening with the violence here. I mean, I do have to say, like I said, I think there was tension built just around watching really simple things like that pedicure tool that she was using to, scrape in between her
Hmm.
nails on her toes and everything like that. And then the sound effect, just the sound of the scraping and everything just made me wince. And here I'm watching people get beheaded and cut in half and lit on fire, and I'm not wincing, but I'm watching something go under someone's toenail, and I'm going, ah, if they
Yeah.
got the right sound to back it up.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Amethyst is saying that this actually, because I compared it to the tanning bed in three,
yeah.
but he's saying that he was thinking Samantha's death was to evoke Tim's from the pigeon kid from Final Destination 2, because it's more of like a big
Oh,
setup, which
yeah.
is all misdirection, that then is just like a quick kill outside
Hmm.
afterwards.
Right. And I did appreciate also the complete detachment and lack of knowledge of what he had even done. Because he didn't do it, but what his machine had done, I guess, from the lawnmower man who just continued mowing the lawn and just while screams or
Yeah.
emoting from the salon. He doesn't even turn his head. He's just kind of humdy dumdy dumdy dum.
Yeah.
He'll find out about it in the paper the next day because all of these
Yeah.
deaths, front page news. But
Is Greg asks, is this the Friday Five of the final series?
no, because I love the Friday Five.
Yeah, I think that I mean, it's hard to say because there's some poorer entries in the Friday franchise, but they're all like, to like they have different nuances about them as to why they're bad. So I don't know. Like I compare this, like I say this is the resurrection
Yeah.
of the Halloween resurrection of Final Destination, because it just feels like it was just put together without really any passion or thought towards like a fan base or like a film quality. It's just sort of like, here, this is what everyone likes in 3D. The kids are all about, like, let's just put it this way. If Halloween Resurrection came out in 2009, they would sure as fuck have made that a 3D movie on top of everything else.
Yeah, but I do find that I can watch this with all of my criticism. I can watch this and would watch this probably more readily than I would, say, a Halloween Resurrection or a Jason
Mm,
Goes to Hell, which I know that those comparisons are going to unlock all kinds of responses from people who are listening because
yeah.
there are people who love those movies as well. But with this one, this is the thing. I don't entirely, this is my hottest take, I think, is that I don't entirely hate this movie. I can just recognize when it's being lazy, and I can recognize little things that I think they got right and other things that work well enough that, I'll watch it again. I don't even know how many times I've seen it at this
Yeah.
point. I know it's been more than five, so, and I
I
will see it
think,
again. So, yeah.
yeah, I mean, two for me, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe three. Here's the thing. Like this movie doesn't upset me the same way that Halloween Resurrection
Yeah,
upsets me, because that movie, it's just like, you're better than this. Whereas I feel like, that like the bar, in my opinion, was never raised that high for this franchise.
sure, sure.
But still, I know that the movies can be really great if the effort is put in, and I
Mhm.
don't see that here. I think that I probably enjoy the ride of this movie more than I do the ride of Halloween Resurrection. But by the sheer nature of Halloween Resurrection being a Halloween movie, I'm
Mhm.
probably more likely to watch that in a marathon of Halloween watching, even though there's sometimes I've said like I'm not even gonna watch that again in a marathon of the
Mhm.
movie. But then like enough time passes and I, you start to miss something and you're just like, you know what I haven't seen in a while? Halloween Resurrection. Just to remember why I hate it so much. So then you
Yeah.
watch it and then like, about 10 minutes in, you're like, oh
Uh,
God, like
yeah.
I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But then you
But
remember.
and you sit through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Understood completely.
yeah,
No, I do have a question for you. There's another kill sequence. It's a joint kill.
yeah.
Because these two people died simultaneously. That was another thing. Okay, before I ask you the question. They killed off in the original Premonition, Hunt and Janet at the same time. And I thought it was impactful when the kill occurred because the shot just showed like a giant block of concrete from overhead drop on them. And I thought, oh, all I need to see if they do a reaction shot is like the concrete just flush with the ground and just like blood, maybe a little gore, splatter, like whatever. Just give
Yeah.
me, like a good reaction shot.
Hmm.
We get the reaction shot of Nick. He's like, because that's, how emotional he gets. And then,
Hmm.
and then we cut back and it looks as though the concrete had already been laid there. This is based off just the shot. I didn't pause it or anything, but I just remember looking at it and my immediate reaction was, it looks like they just laid concrete over some steps or something, some tiers that were also concrete, and they got the
Yeah.
actors to like roll themselves, kind of like shimmy themselves underneath the concrete and then lay there and just play dead. And I'm like, you're not crushed. So I mean, again, like I mean, the little bells and whistles that I want from my horror movies, especially when like the opening sequence of Final Destination, and they should know this by this point, is kind of the sport of the kills. Like in addition to the terror and the tension
Hmm.
of the anticipation of the thing coming around and everything like that, you get the payoff of like watching all of these deaths like one after these catastrophes one after the other, just like you said, a domino effect. And so I got that, and then they took it away by showing me, see, look, two actors crawled underneath this rubble and pretended that they were crushed. Um, that said, when death comes for them, we got the car wash sequence jointly with the pool drain sequence. Do you have a
Hmm.
strong opinion about either or both of these scenes?
I actually really enjoyed the car wash one for for how ridiculously implausible it is. And leading up to like her head stuck
Yeah.
in the sunroof
Yeah.
as it's like about to like hit this thing. Like there was just something really fun about it. And I think that had that been a kill, that might have been my favorite of this film. Or even like, it could have been like high up there in the franchise.
Sure.
'Cause it's just like it doesn't make any sense. The whole pattern of it happening. It's just like it's just the kind of fuckery that this franchise would do and get away with. So
Yeah.
I'm sad that it didn't, see it through. The
Yeah.
pool thing, um, I don't know. It's just like we don't see anything. Like there's just sort of like that suction at the end and then like the blood coming up. So we don't really see. And I
Yeah.
mean, like maybe that's for the best because the CGI in this movie.
Yeah.
But it felt like, even for what they were doing with this, like you should have just like had him get sucked into the whole thing. I just want to see like
Oh, like an empty meat suit, and
yeah,
then
just
in the pool, and then out of the everything just come
yeah.
out, eyeballs, and
Yeah. Or even like ripped his skin off. I mean, like, remember in like Buffy at the end of season 6 when Dark
oh,
Willow, Warren,
Yes.
If that just happened to him, just pull his skin, like make him Hellraiser. Um,
If it would have taken the outer layer, ooh,
yeah,
yeah, and made him Hellraiser, it'd been cool.
something like that would have been
Hmm.
interesting. And then like turn the water red or something. There's so much more that could have been done with that. That it just felt
Yeah.
it felt a little weak.
When I watched it the first time, even I was working at I was it was 2009. Yeah, I was still working at a Borders books and music store, and I remember I still have yet to read this book by I believe it was Chuck Palahniuk who wrote Fight Club. He wrote a series of short stories called Haunted, and I believe he wrote one about a guy who was curious about anal suction for a sexual gratification, and he went down to a pool drain with the intention of sitting on it to see like, is this going to get me off? And it sucked. I don't know. I didn't read it, so I don't remember, but I remember being told about it in reference to this kill. Like someone read Chuck Palahniuk and just decided, oh, I'm going to put it on screen, and didn't develop it, didn't put any more thought into it. But I think something got sucked. Like, you know, back into the drain. I don't know how it got resolved. Now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, oh, I should read that short story. But still haven't read it. It's been over 15 years. It's time. But yeah, I thought aside from the literary reference for it, you want to talk about like, I don't know, just implausibility. It just seems like, how did his anus find its way to the, why was that the first thing? Aside from, you know, it's a vulnerable part. I definitely don't want that to happen to me. But yeah, that one I actually wish they would have gone a little bit further. But I often feel that way with some of, not all of the kills, but some of the kills with these movies, because they do seem kind of horror light for me sometimes. That's why I
Yeah.
focus, that's why I gravitate much more to the characters and less to the gore, because I don't get a lot of gore satisfaction watching this entire franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amethyst is saying both of the mechanics kills are some of the worst for me.
Oh.
Is the racist a mechanic as well? I mean, he was a tow truck,
He had a,
or
yeah.
yeah, or
Does
something.
that qualify him as a mechanic,
I
or are we
don't
talking
know.
about the girlfriend?
I don't
Because
think
was
she
she a
was a mechanic.
mechanic?
I don't know if
Was
she
she,
was a mechanic. I think she was just
okay.
the girlfriend. But yeah,
Okay.
the fence thing with like
Yeah,
the CG, like that was
yeah, yeah.
awful. And I hated even that character when he's just like, "Oh, like this thing has almost killed him," and then he's just like, "Oh, whatever," turns around,
Yeah.
and it's
Also, was it me or did that girl that he was going to the race look? I mean, and I'm not ageist about this, but I did think like, really? Like I thought she looked about half his age. The mechanic and his girlfriend at the racetrack. I was just kind
I
of
don't
like,
know.
oh,
Was
that's
she?
interesting.
But was she of like legal age?
I mean, she didn't look illegal, but I mean, he definitely looked like he was late 30s to me, and she looked
Didn't we
much
talk about this
more.
in Friday the 13th part 3 of the Chuck, the
Oh,
hippie guy? It's just like
with oh fuck, what's her name? Uh,
Chili.
Chili,
Yeah.
yes. No, but Chili at least looked like a mom. She had mom jeans on. There was
She looked like a
he
soccer mom.
yeah, she looked like a soccer mom and he looked like an old hippie. Like there
It's
was
like they were just
definitely
like the parents that were just sitting in the back getting high,
but the
chaperoning
irresponsible parents,
chaperoning
yeah. They were
the
the cool
trip.
parents.
Yeah.
Chong and mom. But but no, anyway, no, yeah, no, his kill was not gratifying. I mean, even like as a means of like getting George and Nick and Lori all scared and amped up to like keep warning people. I was just kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, all right. Oh yeah, because yeah, it's just like little meat slivers falling. I'm like, okay, whatever. I will say I agree with you in terms of the car wash. I did wonder, and again, movie, show me the things that show me the things that my mind immediately goes to. Show me that they're not working. I can assume that they're not, but I am going to sit there wondering, has she tried this until you show me? Like, I obviously, like, if the moonroof isn't quite working, maybe the windows aren't. But I didn't see her once try to put the windows down or to pop the trunk. Both things, because there's no little boom, 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 boom on the trunk. So I know why she can't open her door or the passenger doors, but if she would have popped the trunk, then all the water would have just
One
out,
thing
and she would have been fine.
One thing that I felt was missing here, as opposed to the last movie, is because they had their thematic song choices,
Yes.
like roller coaster
Yeah.
of love,
Of
and then like people
love.
around the world,
Yeah.
Jordan,
Join
love train,
in.
and then
Love
here
train.
I'm just
Yeah.
like they should have had at the car wash, yeah.
I thought about that too, but I think they thought they had already blown their wad with the "Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?" Maybe they
Yeah.
thought it was in too close proximity for there to be another silly song. Because I mean, we're
Oh,
talking like
with this franchise, just throw it all in there. Yeah, like you may as well.
um I also oh okay, just like we Hunt as the douchey character, like yeah, we know he's a lousy lay because the second he comes, he pulls out his phone. I still have yet to see that. I'm like, okay, that is some like it's so audacious. I almost no, I don't respect it, but I'm almost like, what must it be like to be that person who is so disengaged from their impact on other people that once they've come, they can just pull out their phone and they don't. You're no longer even there to them anymore. But then what was up with him and the kid with the gun? Was it just like supposed to make us like see one more layer of douchery to him because he sees the kid in the pool who I guess sprayed him with his water gun. He's just gonna
And
give me the
wrecked his
gun.
phone.
Yeah, yeah, wrecked his phone, and he's just kind of like, "Give me the gun," and the kid's like, "No," and he's just like, "Give me the fucking gun," and the kid's like, "No." And I'm like, what? We're never gonna see this kid again, are we? But he definitely earned his paycheck that day because I have so many questions. What? What? I don't even. That was actually like a really enjoyable scene. I was like, you know what? That should have been his little brother, and that little kid should have just been doing things to him the whole movie. And he could have been like, "Are you ever going to stop?" No. I mean, it would have given me
Yeah,
joy.
yeah,
So, I mean,
possibly.
I'm grasping at straws, but
Yeah,
because I want to enjoy myself. I'm watching a movie. I should be
yeah.
having fun.
There's a lot of instances like that, and I mean, one thing that like when Eric and I write like our script,
Yeah.
uh, we don't just throw like an intention to like the characters that you have
Yeah.
in a story, and we try like so for instance like we wouldn't have like boy in pool or man walking down the street sort of thing. Like there's like X number of characters in the script.
Yeah.
And if there's like a need for it, like everyone will have a name, everyone has a purpose. There's no just like random person. And if we feel the need that there's a character that we would want, and it's like, okay, well, how can we incorporate them into the story contextually so they're
Yeah.
not just some random person that shows up because you think about like developing a movie and it's just like actors cost money, the more you have like unless they're extras sort of thing, so if you're gonna have a person like let them actually have a role in the movie. So I think that yeah, you bringing up like if this kid was actually a reoccurring
Yeah.
thing. We even talked about that like when we were discussing Scream 6, I think it
Yeah.
was, and the guy who's, trying to take Tara upstairs at the party at the beginning that
Oh yeah.
Sam tasers in the balls. It's just like, why was this not a character that kind of like reoccurred in the movie? Like, why didn't we see more of
Mm.
him? Like, he has beef now with her. There's, reason for him to show up. And I guess like in the script, he was supposed to be in it more, but it's just like, that's
Oh
the thing. Don't
man.
just like have these like one-off, one scene characters. And that's another reason I hate Resurrection because you have that party of all like those kids that are just like, oh my God, this is no longer funny, guys.
Well, I mean, and I, yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I enjoy curveballs and random shit. I mean, I did say when I saw Brooke Bundy just go, Andale, Andale, get away from that house in Nightmare 4. I was like,
Which
oh, I hope that's the only thing she does. But then she came back and she did fulfill a purpose. And I was actually really glad to see her come back and still be a bad mom and still
yeah.
still do things that cross boundaries and, make decisions that with thinking she has her daughter's best interest at heart, I guess, and she's doing her best, but her best is really bad, and and ultimately her daughter suffers because of it. But there's also something to be said about, like, I guess, and this is not an attack on the actors. I'm wondering, like, what was behind the direction? How much time did they have? And also, like, how much are you really willing to do? I wonder if morale was low on this one. Because here I already, like, sang the praises of McKelty Williamson as an actor apart from this, like, but I, this movie wouldn't be something I'd use to showcase his abilities. And I felt the same thing. I don't even know the name of the actress who played Laurie. At a certain point, I just started writing down her lines because the delivery is, well, it's absolutely memorable, but it's things like, George, you can't give up. I don't understand how George can be so calm about things. I don't want anything to happen to you. I mean, she is so just flat and dispassionate about what she's doing, and she's supposed to be the motor behind, like, warning people and and backing up Nick and, like, no, I believe you, but if this is true then we need to warn people, kind of things. And yet there's this lack of a marriage between delivery and intent on the page, I guess, if we can even call it intent. Like I said, the characters are
Mhm.
flat, so I don't know what was in these actors' heads or hearts the days that they shot a lot of this.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I just go back to the idea that it didn't feel like there was a lot of passion put into this. Like this is just clearly feels like a cash grab
Yeah,
for the studio. Like I said, like Tony Todd is not in this one. There was
right.
no, even he wasn't in three as the character, but like his voice was used in the movie. Like he was
Right.
the voice of the devil or whatever in the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Um, so it didn't there weren't these decisions that were being made like yeah, like what do the fans want? What is the sort of thing? Like even for the idea like the final destination, like how do we like if this is like the last one, because it seemed like they were, trying to I don't even know why they would want to end it at that point.
No.
But like to have some way to like tie it together with the first three, other than like the I guess the X-ray uh opening credits of just showing like the previous deaths in the
That was
franchise, which
fun.
was yeah like the like one of the few highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
um so I don't know, it just didn't seem like there was a lot of thought put into anything. There certainly wasn't thought put into like the development of the characters, so I don't know that the direction of like the acting would have
Yeah.
been something that was at the forefront
Yeah.
of anyone's mind going into this.
It is something I have a curiosity. If they ever do like a retrospective kind of Never Sleep Again, Crystal Lake Memories
Yeah.
documentary, film by film of these, I would love to hear the cast looking back on of this movie
Yeah.
specifically because it's the one that I think there's something fascinating to me about, like, cinematic stumbles
Yeah.
and hearing about, like, well, you're not wrong, here's why. And yeah, I'm always interested in that. Apart from that, like, uh
I would imagine that their responses would probably be like Monica Keena's when she looks back
yeah,
on Freddy versus Jason.
like, I had
Just
my own
yeah.
context I brought to it, but all this shit happened. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to say this line, and I did. But I think also another thing that contributed to me falling off, because like I said, by the third act, by the time we reach the movie theater, I'm done. But
Yeah.
even before that, like seeing Nick like on the phone after, you know, the cocktail hour plans that they made about their lives, going to Saint Tropez or whatever. He's on the phone with Lori and she's like, "You sure you don't want to come to the movie with us?" And he's just kind of like, "Nah, sounds like a chick flick anyway." And I'm like, now we're watching a movie about a guy
But it's not a
who
chick flick.
I know. And I'm just kind of like, also the fact that you would use that term as like a reason not to go see a movie. Okay, then I don't want to watch you anymore. Like I do want to see you die. I do want to see. Oh, the only thing that I like I think I recognized, it might have been an accidental illusion, but just like when they're on the escalator, and I was like, oh God, that was another thing when Lori was freaking out on the escalator the first time, and her lace was caught, and Janet's like, oh my God, and she's like, oh my God, the whole time I'm like, take your shoe off. Why are we like, and have her try to take the shoe off and realize that it's knotted, and that's why she can't. That would make me more tense as opposed to like, take off your shoe. Just take off your shoe.
Yeah.
Take off your shoe. Oh God, you know what I mean? Help me up the ante so that it helps me get as tense, thinking like, oh my God, what if the lace was so tight, you know, on this shoe that I bought for my boyfriend because he likes me in sneaks. Oh God. Anyway, so much to turn me off in that final
And
act.
green undies.
And green undies. And that was another thing. I was just kind of like, here, she's running around in little American Apparel briefs earlier in the movie, and she's on full display. And then he walks in like a double XL t-shirt and boxer shorts. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Come on. He's just as pretty as she is. Come on, put them both in their American Apparel briefs. His can be pink. It'll be cute. But the thing was, Lori when she's falling down the escalator and he's holding her as she's, you know, and then her feet get caught and everything like that. I was like, ooh, it's almost like an alternate universe end of the movie Mannequin. Did you ever see Mannequin? Kim
No.
Cattrall and Andrew McCarthy. She's basically, it's not a an escalator, but she's as a mannequin. Spoilers for Mannequin, guys. It's great. You should see it. But Kim Cattrall is mannequinized, and she's on this conveyor belt that's going down into like these chopper blades, kind of like Michael Myers and Hens. And she's about to fall down, and Andrew McCarthy goes in to rescue her, and he grabs the mannequin hand, and as he's holding her, the mannequin hand becomes Kim Cattrall's hand, and they grip each other. That is more tense than, than fucking Lori actually grinding into the gears of an escalator at the climax of this movie. Because I guess what? Huge shocker, I'm sure, to everyone. I care more about Kim Cattrall than I do about whoever plays
I
Lori.
care more about Benicio del Toro when they did that to him in License to Kill, and he was one of the bad guys.
Oh, that's right, they did do
Yeah,
that to him.
yeah,
I forgot
yeah.
about that.
um, Amethyst is saying the escalator death scene is just hilarious to me now. I work mall security and I know how escalators would work. It would never fold a girl up like a piece of paper. Not to go all cinema sins on Final Destination movie.
Also, can I say it looks like that theater is a death trap anyway, because we've got a faulty fire alarm when Nick tries to pull it, and then when he tries to use the fire extinguisher, it's almost empty. So, I mean, aren't they just
I
asking for it at that theater?
I liked how he like ran in and like suddenly there's like all these like listings for the same movie. And it was
Yeah.
like it was gonna be this thing. He runs into one theater, Lori, not there. Goes into the next one. That's
Yeah.
the one. Like they made it seem like this big to do, and then he found her right away.
Oh, and that was another thing
Um,
that pissed me off is that like he ran in, he tried to get Lori, they tried to get fucking oh fuck, what's her name? Janet.
Janet,
I
yeah.
almost called her Tina, but Janet. They tried to get Janet, and all the while they're just standing in the aisle, and I thought like, okay, guys, you either need to make like an uproar and be like, everybody out, you know,
Yeah.
or you need to get who you care about and then just get out quietly. Like let people silently die. They're watching the movie. So I was thinking about movie theater etiquette while I was watching that moment. I was like, oh, you're those fuckers who stand in the aisle and think it's okay. I'm in the aisle now, so I can have a fully fledged conversation. It's like, bitch. And you're there, but they're not warning all the people either. So I'm like, you're selfish fucks.
Yeah.
I mean, a real final couple would have been trying to evacuate the theater, you know?
hmm
But whatever.
I was just thinking of the Key and Peele skit where he plays Megan.
Yes.
Andre, where are you? I'm gonna call
Yeah.
you.
I think you've sent that to me on like two
Oh,
occasions
it's
now.
hilarious.
Oh, Key and Peele. Oh,
Yeah.
we can always come back to them. I love them.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, anything else about this movie?
I I don't know. There's um because I was watching this with Eric and he commented on the George of it all because there's the shot when I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
he's like contemplating suicide.
Yeah.
Which I mean that's a whole other thing, just like how blasé the
Oh
the script is
boy.
with that
Yeah.
essentially. But there's the shot when he's sitting at the table because he has the drink,
Yes.
and he's like, is he gonna drink it or not? And there's like
Yeah.
this beautiful shot of like this the sun waning sunlight kind of filtering into the house,
Yes. Yes.
and Eric said to me like this is just like a beautiful shot. Like this
Yeah.
is just like probably the most beautiful shot in the movie. And I'm just like, and it probably could have been cut
Yeah.
because this scene serves no purpose. You
No.
could have just taken this out completely. So
Like the little things with George, he was another character who I was just like, we could have followed him, and he's barely in the movie. I don't think of McKelty Williamson when I think about this movie. I forgot he was
mhm,
in it. So when I saw him again, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, he probably does a good job. And in that scene, the work he was doing in that scene was incredible. And also there was even just the phone call with his mother after the initial
mhm.
opener. And the fact that we saw like the Alcoholics Anonymous, I guess, book sitting on his coffee table while his mom's checking in with him. I'm doing headcanon now. I'm involved. I'm thinking like, oh, because she's probably like just checking. I'm just like, yeah, you okay? Just to make sure he's not alone and to make sure he knows he's not alone. So if he has like an impulse to reach for something, it'll be a loved one and not another, bottle and everything. I know. I was sitting there kind of like, they're gonna fuck this up, aren't they? And they did. They had tiniest fibers of something that was attractive as movie material, like as something to just hook you and get you to root for someone, to hope that they, number one, don't drink, and number two, come out of this alive. And and they made him suicidal and then immediately dispensed with that and had let's celebrate with the sparkling cider while we're going to Santa Fe. Oh God, I can't.
Mhm.
I can't
I
with
love how
this.
he had to like announce like as they were pouring, it's sparkling cider.
Well, just
But
so we
but
know.
so we know. But it's just like the implausibility, like he's just gonna announce this is sparkling cider after he's already gotten it out.
Yeah.
But Amethyst, how lazy is the writing that in 2 and 4 the black character is the one who tries to kill himself? I completely
Oh
forgot that
my
that was
God.
established in 2 that you couldn't
Right.
kill yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's like here's another aspect that they're using in 4 that just like there's no surprise here. There's no new discoveries.
Yeah.
I feel like Laurie in Halloween 2018, there's no new discoveries. There's nothing new to learn here.
Well, uh, lots of Lorries. God, we got Laurie
Lots
Afraid
of
versus
is it
Jason.
Lori or is it Lori though?
Lori.
Yeah, it's like you
How
want to
do
be
you
a
pronounce them differently?
no, it's the same, but I was just like if you want to be a Laurie in a horror. If you're a Laurie in a horror movie, you want to be a Lowry,
Lowry.
Lowry
Not
than a
which
Laurie.
one was she in
No
Freddy versus
offense
Jason?
to LORIs out there who are listening.
We're talking
Uh,
not really, but not really. Yeah.
Monica Keena's Laurie was LORI.
Okay, okay.
Laurie.
I'd still take her over this Lori though, because at least she gets to scream, "Welcome
Oh,
to my world,
Monica, look,
bitch!"
and we talked about Freddy versus Jason. Monica Keena is amazing. Like not the best character, but still, like I think that
Yeah,
there's a lot more redeemable qualities there than some of the other final girls of that franchise. But
sure.
what else was I? What else is there to say about this? Oh, the convenience. Also, this goes back to the original, the cowboy character because I completely forgot about him.
Hmm.
And I think that there was some confusion at first because it was sort of like like, oh, this is a character because he was like set up at the beginning, and
Yeah.
I guess that the idea was that he had survived. Like he never escaped the thing because this is what was found out, but it was done in such a sloppy way that made it
Hmm.
hard to understand. Is that he survived
Yeah.
the collapse of the building. They found him under some rubble,
Jesus.
but then I wonder, like, but how does that make him part of this chain? He just
Hmm.
survived. Like he wasn't alerted. And I guess they're saying because like in the premonition, like he moved and then that never happened because
Hmm.
of this. And it was just, I guess it's like the girls on the airplane in the first one, like they never traded seats. And it was,
Yeah.
and it's like, here's this character and I don't know anything about him. I don't care about him. Like you said, the racist old man upstairs was more developed than this cowboy guy.
I mean,
And
I
we,
liked that he was decent, but that's all we got to know about him. I would have loved
yeah,
to see he could have been part of the group. Like, I mean, again, that's how you connect people. Like, you just kind of like, well, we're decent people. Decent people are going to look out for each other.
yeah.
But yeah, they made him that is it? I don't know, red herring or whatever. It made him that missing link, and it also makes me question death. It's one of those writing out of convenience kind of things that really bothers me when it's like death is going to get him, but only when everybody else realizes death didn't already get him. Now we're going to cut away. Everybody just realized we're going to cut away to the guy in a hospital bed, and now death is going to start rearing. It's like, death, you could have had this guy. You could have got him in the ambulance on the way from the accident, killed him
Mhm.
off like that. Why are you waiting for there to be something else? Or maybe death is just a bitch and just wants to create a tableau, to create an impact
It
on.
was a stock though.
Yeah, but
When
I
are we,
will
we still
say,
have to get the Final Destination movie from Death's perspective.
I would love that. I
Yeah.
mean, one thing, the song choice with the "Why Can't We Be Friends" for the tow truck racist guy, I did appreciate the fact that the movie was essentially telling us that even death knows that this guy is crossing a line by using the N-word and whistling Dixieland music and shit. That it's just kind of like, you know what? You're a piece of shit. Like, on top of everything else, I am a brutal killer, but you're an asshole.
All right.
Like this is the last messaging I'm gonna send you before your time is up, bitch. And
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
There's one last positive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we're running on fumes here.
All
So
right.
let's get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we killed people on purpose.
Alrighty then. We need a cherry on top for the Final Destination.
Um,
Yeah, I know. Um,
I didn't even think about this and there were no clear front runners for me. Um,
I
I'm at a
I
loss.
okay, I don't care for Janet, but I like there was something about her look that I was just like I found her like it's just like the camera really
Oh my
liked
God.
her. But I think that probably out of like the four, like the friend group or anything, and even like if we're like lump George into this as well, I actually found that Hunt was probably the most interesting. Um, he at least had a an archetype, whereas I feel like the other three didn't even have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but cherry on top. Is there
Who
anybody
else
in the
is there?
background can we
The
give it to the receptionist that gives the finger to to MILF Samantha?
Sure, sure.
I don't know if she's credited as receptionist or if she has a name, but if racist and mechanic are names in this script, then maybe she's
Uh,
just
Craig says the girl at the salon counter. So yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks, Craig.
John Carlos says cherry on top is Tony Todd for sitting this one out.
That doesn't
It
count.
doesn't count.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we don't have many rules, but that's one of them. You got to be in
Yeah.
the movie to be a cherry on top.
Mhm. Okay, so last week we asked you who deserves to die the most in Sorority Row.
Yeah.
Dr. Rosenberg versus Garrett Bradley across
Right.
Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube. The total tally was 401 for Dr. Rosenberg versus 198 for Garrett Bradley.
Oh, thanks,
What
guys.
do
Thanks
you
for
know?
showing up.
It's so it's interesting because Sorority Row and Final Destination 4 came out the same year.
Hmm.
And I had some criticisms last week for that movie, and
Hmm.
it's just it's so interesting to watch back to back these movies because I was thinking throughout most of this like I'd rather be watching Sorority Row again.
Me too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Just who would have known? Who would
More
have
fun to
thunk
be
it?
had. More fun to be
Yes,
had.
absolutely. Okay, so Welshman, the power to have the poll be 100% one way is intoxicating. I guess that's what you get when you're early to it.
Right?
Thomas Baker says Garrett. Jazzy Boo, it's
Okay.
all his fault. He's just an entitled ass and a cheater.
Oh,
I'm assuming Garrett. I don't know what
was he a cheater? I
he
mean,
cheated on her or he like
oh, is that what they broke
I
up? Okay.
think I don't
I don't
know.
remember. I got to watch the movie again. Poor me.
Yeah. Um Alex is lame. I am so happy Jessica won the cherry on top. Her line of, oh, she looks terrible, bumped this movie up an entire half star for me.
It's so good.
I'm torn on who to vote for here because they're both gross,
They
but
are.
I'm leaning towards Dr. Rosenberg on this
Okay.
one. Kenta Voorhees. Definitely Dr. Rosenberg. He's a deplorable man who wagers prescription drugs to patients for sexual gain. Not cool. P.S. I was so happy and shocked to find out you were going to be covering Sorority Row. I absolutely love this movie despite its many flaws.
Oh,
I really liked the depiction of how shallow college life can be. And the hooded killer with weapon looks scary. Jessica was savage. She should have lived.
yeah, agreed, 100%.
Slasher in Suits. I don't remember this movie at all.
Oh, watch it again.
Well, for a username Slasher in Suits, I mean, come on.
Yeah, go for it.
Sean Prinsick, no idea. I'd choose the Doctor. Very good.
Just roulette. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
Grant Dempsey, wow, a therapist is on the cherry picker chopping block, and I'm not voting for them? Who am I anymore? Anyway, both of them deserve to die, but based on what we actually see in the film, Garrett seems slightly more heinous for believing that he was drugging Megan. So Garrett gets my
Mm.
vote. I don't know why I just pronounce Megan all the
Megan.
time. Megan,
Regan.
Thregan.
Thregan. Yes.
Yeah. Adrian Phillips, Garrett cheated on Megan with Jessica. Was it with Jessica? I don't remember that. They seem awfully chill about it if it was.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
on like an off-screen line or something,
Yeah.
like, or maybe like where we heard it but we didn't see the person say. I don't remember that. But I only seen it
Yeah.
the once. I gotta watch it again. Poor me.
Mm. Garrett kills Megan. Jessica kills Garrett. Kyle, Jessica's boyfriend, sleeps with Maggie, Megan's sister. It's just a lot. Garrett Bradley, he stabbed his girlfriend with a tire iron. Was he trying to get out of one last lug nut? You cheated, Mr. Oh yeah, he's a cheater. Such an Eddie moment to aside something like that. It's likely that Chug's therapist visits are influenced by her brother taking things too far. The doctor is slimy, yes, but the flippant way Chugs talks to her friends about him makes me question their doctor-patient arrangements. It seemed unclear. I wonder if Zack's sounding like Chucky at this point. Yeah. No. The doctor is a gross guy who died. Garrett is a gross guy who maybe lived. Garrett. Or Garrett. How do
Gr
you say it?
what?
Yeah, Garrot. Like what, strangle?
Oh,
Garrett?
is Garrot
How
strangle?
do you, isn't it? What is Garrot? Is that how
I
you
don't.
pronounce it though?
I've never used that in reference to strangle. Anybody cultured?
Mm.
Grant is always the Chucky. Anyway,
Garrot,
I don't know.
a weapon or method of execution involving strangulation, typically with a ligature like a rope, chain, or wire.
I have never heard that term. What kind of horror fan am I?
I don't know.
Well, they never used it in the Chucky franchise. I've never heard garrote.
Garrot.
Garrote.
Garrot.
It's right up there with
I'm
big
gonna
hooves.
There's nothing. What does he say? There's nothing like a good old strangulation to get the circulation going
Yeah, yeah.
or
So there's a
flowing.
good old
Yeah,
garrote. Garroshin.
Garrot. Garroted.
Garrote.
John Carlos. Both men suck. And while Eddie made valid points, Dr. Rosenberg is just such a creep. Garrett bugs, but Rosenberg icks. If I had my druthers, it'd be Mickey. Any dude wearing two polo shirts with both collars flipped up has got to go.
I mean, I wouldn't put that over like sexual assault or even wielding sexual power over people with addictive personalities, which is what these two that we chose did. But okay.
He's got two polos with both collars popped.
No good. No good.
Amethyst is saying garroted is a little too cultured for Chuck. Well, I mean, he says
Okay.
behooves, though. Listen
Yeah,
to
but-
yourself. Behooves.
But he berates someone for
You
using
sound
that
like
term.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, right? So if somebody said
Yeah.
garrote, be like, where am I? Jolly old England?
Kellen 3. I gotta go with the doctor. Both were pretty bad, but the doctor is just so much grosser that his death is a bigger payoff for me. Kind of hated this movie. Glad Eddie had a good time with it at least.
Yeah. Wow.
Matthias Eggerman. For this, the creepy doctor. But for me, the little sister Maggie, just for the stupid damn dance and song in the end. Worst bit in the movie is also the stupid party dance scene. The girls start a dance routine in the middle of a party for 3 seconds. Is that at the beginning of the credits?
I don't know. I stopped
Yeah,
listening. I was
so-
just listening to your voice.
Oh.
It's just fun at a certain point to hear your vocal cords grinding. It's fun.
Kristen Rocks. Garrett, because he survived. At least the doctor got what was coming to him. Garrett got away with cheating, drugging, and then murdering his GF. But honestly, Ellie was also the worst. All she did was cry and scream.
Oh my God.
Silent Saturn, one of those movies where anyone could get the chop, no wrong answers. Gonna go with Garrett. Who the F rams a tire iron into his dead girlfriend like that? Definitely not a loving, mourning boyfriend, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Clearly, he has severe issues that go way beyond something like Dr. Rosenberg being a pervy horn dog.
I will say, as far as we know, Dr. Rosenberg at least got consent. It was transactional, power-based, corrupt consent that should be shamed and jailed. But, anyway.
What was the line? Like, Dr. Rosenberg, I don't have time for Catch Me, Rape Me.
Yeah, yeah. And then she died. We lost her. She was so politically incorrect. I loved
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
So you go first. Oh,
I
God. Kid in a candy
I
store with this
mean,
movie.
I think I know where you're going. Just
Okay.
based on sometimes I just get a feeling because there's a character that you seem to pick on a lot. I'm gonna be boring and basic. I'm gonna go with the racist because it's just
Which one?
The one whose like name is racist.
The
It's like, hi, I'm
credited
racist. Yeah.
racist.
Hi,
Yes,
I'm
okay.
racist. And this is Mrs. Racist over here. I wonder, is she credited as racist wife?
I don't know.
Or like racist apostrophe S wife, or just like racist wife, like adjective wife?
Wife of racist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here, I'm looking. Let me see if I can find her.
Yeah,
Make your
it's just
case.
like firstly, let's just put aside the fact that you're racist. How is this George's fault. And what are what kind of a thing? It's like you're gonna justify this by burning a cross on his front lawn in this neighborhood. Like, if, hey, let me put this out there. If he had actually gone through and burned that cross, that might have been a justifiable reason for what's his face hairdresser to call in sick. That sounds more disturbing than what happened.
She is racist's wife,
Okay.
apostrophe S, racist's wife, as well as there's mechanic's girlfriend. That's what she's credited
Oh, she
as.
didn't even have a name. Yeah.
And MILF's husband is also credited because she's the one who thanks him at the memorial. And he, yeah. So there you go. Okay, so you made your case?
Yeah.
Fuck, who the fuck am I gonna pick? I mean, heart
Oh.
and conscience and everything, but I mean, there's so many. God, I mean, I'm just looking at them right now. I mean, I wouldn't pick Nick just because, even though he's bland, I feel like people would find favor with him seeing his face, especially alongside the racists in the cherry picker. Give me a minute. I gotta do my math out loud here. Lori, she's definitely a contender. So is Hunt. I feel like Hunt is actually memorably bad. I feel like people they'd see the racist and they'd probably vote for him, but Hunt is actually kind of like a worthy adversary on the listing because I think a lot of people might find his douche nozzle antics, but then again, a lot of people might be attracted to him. I don't know. Okay, so there's that. Janet, she's not memorable enough for me to choose her. George doesn't deserve it. MILF Samantha, I don't know if the service industry would have my back if I chose her. And I don't even know what the name of the other racist in the movie is. I'm looking. Is it Mr. Subi?
It might have been.
I remember somebody saying Mr. Subi. I think that's what the Chinese orderly, because I'm just looking at their character names. I think that's what he called him, Mr. Subi. I don't know if he's memorable enough. So this is the thing. A lot of people don't watch the movies when they do these. So there's also, oh no, racist old man. So Mr. Subi was somebody else. Somebody's probably saying it in the comments, but I'm not looking at them right now.
So
I'm
there's
just
racist, and then there was racist old man and
Yeah,
racist wife.
and racist's wife. Just racists all over the place
Yeah.
for this one. I mean, but then again, if people see just racist and then racist old man, I wonder who they'd be more forgiving to. Like, you're an old, some people might think he's an old man, so he's set in his ways, so there's less excuse for the younger man who should be more woke or whatever. But then they might look at the racist old man and just be like, "You've lived a long time, man. You should know better. You've seen things. You should be terrified by the shit you've lived through instead of carrying these, prejudices with you to what should have been your grave." Oh, because that's the other thing. The racist old man does not die, and your racist dies. Huh.
My racist.
You're racist.
My
You declared ownership of him when you made him your cherry picker. You cherry picked him. This is the longest I think I've ever taken to decide.
I assumed I thought I knew who you were gonna pick. I guess I was completely wrong.
Who did you think? Because I was going in on Lori or
Yeah.
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 I don't know. Is anybody saying anything?
Nominate the movie.
Sounds like Charles Lee Ray. People are no help. Okay, I'm gonna choose.
Nominate the movie.
Although, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll throw something John Carlos's way and choose kind of like the douche nozzle. I don't know if he wore two polo shirts in this movie, but if anybody was going to, it would be Hunt. But and he is, oh my God, he's a douche nozzle. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's racist either. Um,
You're just
okay.
projecting racism onto these characters. I think that
I'm just saying,
he is the most interesting of that friend group.
no, I'm not interested in him. I don't think he's interesting. I think he's just, again, one note. There's nothing to the way
He's
like I
one
said,
he's one note, but he has a note, you know? Just pick him. Pick him.
Um,
That actor, is it Nick Zano?
yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, Zano. He
No.
was on the reboot of Melrose Place.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Fun fact
Did he
for
play
us
another?
Melrose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all of us, all three of us.
yeah.
Did he play douche nozzle on that too?
I don't remember. I mean, not as much as like here.
I'm gonna go with the douche nozzle. I'm gonna choose what's the character's name? Hunt. It's just Hunt. There's no last
Hunt.
names, right?
Hunt, yeah.
Yeah. What would a last name be for Hunt? Not even Hunter. Like Hunter's hot. Hunt.
Hunt.
Hunt. It sounded. I kept waiting for somebody to call him cunt, but whatever. So okay, yeah, I'll choose Hunt. And you've already got it up. Yeah, because I mean, for all the reasons, but mostly, I mean, all the reasons, because I think he's irredeemable. I don't find him interesting. I think the most interesting thing about him is that he's aesthetically pleasant, but so is the main guy. And honestly, I'd rather lean in Nick's direction than in Hunt's
Hunt
direction.
Wynorski.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd we get that?
Amethyst just brought it up.
Amethyst, you know everything.
It's probably
I
like on Wikipedia or something.
Yeah, or maybe somebody says it at some point. Maybe it's written on a document at some
Hunt
point.
Wynorski, yeah.
Okay, cool. Hunt Wynorski then. Because
It's
for all the reasons, but also because he should have died harder. That should have been a better, more elaborate death. And then they should have mourned him, even though he was a douche. See, that's another thing. Nobody even bothered to grieve the douche.
they could have laid two polo shirts on top of his grave, or just like when they were lowering the coffin and just like
Even the moment where they try to give him some depth, like when he's on the way out the door, he's just kind of like, okay, if I see her, I'll check in with her. Okay. And
but they
it's
didn't
kinda
even
like,
they didn't even ask him to do that, so I don't know why he like
no,
yeah.
but I guess it's just because he could feel them staring daggers at him in the back of his head, or maybe he had a conscience. But who's to tell? Like there's no in this movie. And yet, will I watch it again? Of course I will.
Yeah. Well, that's sure is interesting. Anyway, I put the poll in the chat for everyone who's here with us right now in the meantime. But
Yeah.
if you would like to cast your vote, you can head over to, well, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, just bear with me. This is always the hardest part. Hey, we're doing a podcast right now. Poll is up on YouTube. So vote, subscribe if you're listening to this. If you are watching us, the RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. Head over to our Instagram account at the Cherry Picker Pod. You can also vote there. And you can also vote on Patreon, regardless of whether you are subscribed or not. But if you go over there, feel free to subscribe at the Freddy Krueger tier. You'll get access to all of our podcast live streams. Plus, you'll get to partake in the choosing of the last episode we cover every month. So vote your heart, vote your conscience. Eddie, where can they find you on the socials?
Instagram, Letterboxd, Edward is Truth, one word, traditional spelling. Look for me.
We're both bad at this, apparently.
My batteries are going
Yeah.
low. All right, how about you, Zach?
Main channel on YouTube, Zack Cherry, ZACK space CHERRY. Retro Bitch Face on Instagram and Letterboxd, and Zack Cherry 8 on Twitter. Just a reminder, what's going on next week?
Death Becomes Her.
With all the
Told you.
enthusiasm of
No fuel. I am very enthusiastic about it. I am just incredibly tired. I worked 3 consecutive, like 2 12-hour shifts and then one like 10.5-hour shift after that. So I'm very
Death
excited.
Becomes Her. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.